scathing tweet, and you usually don't get that out of players who have had success under the coach. Players are usually protective of their coaches, but yeah, I mean, and by the way, we haven't really dove into this one because the season started and there's other things to talk about. But is that not the SEC in a nutshell, where Bobby Petrino, who was carted out of Fayetteville on a motorcycle and a neck roll and scabs, is back on the sidelines for a coach coaching ball at a place where he's been the head coach with a coach that's on the hot seat, and they've got a really good quarterback in Taylor Green, and they're just winning games.
And the biggest story of the offseason in Arkansas was bringing Petrino back. And he probably and listen, not to go back a couple of weeks, but Arkansas threw away the game at Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Had it not been for that, they'd be undefeated right now and sitting very pretty. But again, these are just the dramas. And yesterday, yeah, it was an unusual day where obviously the biggest game turned out to be what looked like the Rose Bowl, didn't it? Watching,
yeah,
it was fun.
That was my segue into it, because we'll get to Oklahoma State because they lost to Utah, who's a big newcomer in the Big 12. But
yeah.
I said that earlier on Sunday, Bloody Sunday, that it wasn't in Pasadena. It wasn't January 1st. I think we're all excited about the realignment for now. But Michigan, USC being a conference game, that's just weird to me. But it was a great watch.
Yeah, with Gary Danielson doing the color, I just thought, what happened? Shouldn't this be Georgia, Alabama? It was a great game. I mean, forget the sloppiness and all the mistakes, and clearly, I came away with more respect for Lincoln Riley and USC than I previously had. They're formidable. I don't know. Where they go from here, but Michigan really saved the season. That was a defining moment for Sharon Moore after we wrote them off. And my biggest takeaway had nothing to do with those two schools. It had everything to do with the fact that Texas had gone in there a couple of weeks ago and beaten them so badly, which makes me even more impressed with Texas.
So wait a second, hold the coffee and the Bloody Marys and the energy drinks here. You came out of that with more respect for Lincoln Riley than that. To me is let's lead with that. I thought for sure you'd come at him today.
No, I mean, listen, I did a good job of writing him off before the season. So I mean, I'm impressed that they have a defense that, yeah, I know what happened at the end of the game, but that is not unusual. I still felt like he's got a good football team though. It feels almost complete, not totally, but almost. And I think if they can go in there, that's not Ohio State, that's not Oregon.
Right.
I've got a question mark, but it's still, I came away feeling a lot better. And that's not me pandering, because I don't really care that much for Lincoln Riley. It's not like I'm trying to get invited to his house for coffee. I'm just trying to make a statement that contradicts one I made about 2 months ago.
I would agree with you though, because look, we said this, being a Pac-12 guy born and raised, I said, look, there's a different athlete in the Big Ten. It's a different kind of player, right? Everything in the Big Ten, maybe save Ohio State, because they've recruited differently throughout the years. But Michigan, big, strong, north-south physical isn't exactly what you get in California, which is athlete 7-on-7 type style football. And they went in there physically, came back in a game where they were down 14-0. And fought with them every step of the way. So I'm with you. Look, USC, I thought USC would win because Michigan hadn't had any offense. They went to Orgy. He had 32 yards passing, but it was clear who Michigan was going to be yesterday. And I'm with you. USC is a team that when they figure out what it's going to take to win the Big Ten outside of the Pacific schools that joined, I think it's going to be fun to watch them play football. Realignment talk continues. How about the big ACC game between Cal and Florida State? And Mike Norvell gets the win. Billy Napier, Florida, on the road, and Starkville gets the win. So the two Florida programs that have been bleeding the last couple of weeks came out victorious.
Yeah, and Napier, I don't think that changed his status at all. There are a lot of reports out there that in terms of what's next. I don't think anybody wants to fire him yet. I think that's really they prefer to fire him later than earlier. So that was a big win. It also just showed you how dysfunctional that Mississippi State program is. If you can lose to what have they already lost to? Arizona? Is it Arizona or Arizona State? I can't remember.
Come on, Paul. They lost to the Sun Devils.
Okay, they lost to the Sun Devils. They've lost to Toledo.
Who lost yesterday.
And now this game, and guess what, Texas gets them in a couple of weeks, or so. I mean, you know, Mississippi State's really traveling well. Ultimately, though, I don't think Florida's situation has changed at all. As far as Norvell, everybody's having open season on him. I think he goes quietly the rest of the year and he tries to figure it out.
Yeah, look. We sat here last week thinking and wondering if Billy Napier was going to be gone by the end of the week. There were multiple stories out this week about how, he's safe, vote of confidence, Scott Strickland, everybody in between. It's been a weird week in Gainesville, which to me was the perfect week for them to get Mississippi State, because Graham Mertz looked good. Like Florida looked good. I mean, they look good.
Well, I don't. Their problem is that they have not even gotten to the tough games on the schedule yet.
Yeah.
And I say that because I know Miami is now everybody's favorite pet, but we didn't know that going into the season. But Florida still has in the first half of the season UCF, a game that they can ill afford to lose, and then they're at Tennessee. We know what's going to happen there, and then they get that gauntlet of everyone who is anyone, and so the numbers game still doesn't play well for them. But we just won't be talking about Florida for a couple of weeks, so Napier gets to breathe more easily.